Hello everybody and welcome to the Kreatryx YouTube channel. I welcome you all in a fresh session of analog electronics. And my dear friends, when I say we are going to learn analog electronics from the very basic, I mean it. We will be learning from the very basic level to the very advanced level along with a lots and lots of questions. So before we do that, let me first introduce myself for my friend who is meeting me for the first time. My dear friends, my name is Ankit Goyal. I got AIR1 twice in GATE in 2014 and 2018. I was awarded the President of India Gold Medal in the year 2013 when I graduated from IIT Indore. Till date, I have trained more than 1 lakh students in the online and the offline classes and presently working as a director at Unacademy for GATE department. But my dear friends, the reason behind this series is because of the huge demand of analog electronics and the belief that whenever you ask for anything, we are there to deliver. Yes, my dear friends, we are here for you. We are here delivering for you. And when we say it, we will support you to the very fullest level. And this series will help you crack GATE with the top rank. It will enable ECE student to get 12 out of 12 and 5 out of 5 for electrical students. So my dear friends, if you want to learn with us live, then you can join Unacademy using the code Ankit ESE to get an immediate 10% discount. And not only, my dear friend, 10% discount, it also brings you under my guidance so that I can help you do something that I have done. I can at least take you near to this goal. Okay. So if you also dream the same thing, then join me in this journey on Unacademy subscription using the code Ankit ESE. Now, my dear friend, if you like the content that I deliver, you can watch more of my free videos on this URL, tinyurl.com/AnkitESE. Here you will find all my videos arranged subject-wise, chapter-wise, and you will find great content for free. And you are definitely going to love it. You are definitely going to enjoy. It not only includes conceptual videos, but it also includes problem-solving sessions. So just visit this once and you will fall in love with this URL. Don't forget it. It is a lifeline for you. And if you love the content that we are delivering on YouTube, we have created the first ever video book for you guys, where you will find all the videos along with all the notes that we provide arranged subject wise, chapter wise. So now, my dear friends, your dreams are no longer dreams. They are becoming a reality because you are getting a top quality course, well arranged, well structured, and that too for free. So what can be better than that? What can be better than that? Nothing, my dear friends. So we have empowered the dreams of those who earlier used to think that only the person with a huge amount of money can crack GATE with a top rank. No, my dear friends, that is not the case. Even you can do. Even you can do it. But yes, just you need to believe in yourself and visit this link. But remember, this is a case sensitive link, so write this in uppercase. Other than that, if you join plus subscription, you get all the top educators like me teaching you live in daily lectures, along with providing you daily practice paper, weekly quiz, test series, previous year question, practice question, crash course, rank improvement batch, and most importantly, clearing your each and every doubt. So if you join plus subscription, it is an entire world inside it. So you don't have to look outside. Once you enter plus, every need of yours will be taken care of, and we will make your journey as smooth as possible towards that destination of getting under 100, under 10 rank. Believe me, my friend, you leave that strategy part to us. You leave the content part to us. You just work hard and we will make sure that you obtain the top rank in GATE and ESE. And Iconic is a big brother of Plus. Yes, this is a little brother. So Iconic gives you everything that the Plus subscription gives, along with much more. The major part of Iconic is this personal coach, a person dedicated to you on a daily basis to get you the top rank, guiding you, getting your schedule design, making your strategy. Everything that you need to get the top rank is being done by this personal coach. He'll also create a study planner for you, which you can follow blindly and reach your destination with utmost ease. They will be analyzing your test result and tell you where you are lacking, how you can improve. So that way, my dear friend, everybody else will get a standard analysis, but you will get an analysis just tailor-made for you. Along with it, we have included study material additionally, theory and question bank, and soon we'll be introducing interview guidance into this. So this will become a complete package for a student who wants to take that journey from being an average student to sitting into a PSU or a MTech seat. So for them, this journey will be just like driving a Lamborghini to work. So that sort of a experience, that sort of a royal experience we are going to give you. So let's move on to the lecture, and if you want to join Unacademy, just make sure you use the code Ankit ESE to get my guidance as well as to get 10% over and above whatever Unacademy offers you. So now let's move on to the lecture, dear friends, and let's see what we have in store for you.
Hi guys. Up to now what we were talking about is the basic construction and working of Opamp, and then I told you about a few circuits that were based on open loop configuration. In open loop configuration, we saw that there was no connection between the output and the input terminal. Okay, directly the input was passing to the output. So I told you about the three major circuits in open loop. First circuit was your inverting amplifier, second one was your non-inverting amplifier, and the third one was your differential amplifier. Also I told you that the output voltage should never exceed the supply voltage, which is also called as the saturation voltage. And we saw some general concepts like concept of virtual ground, and the current input to the op-amp should always be 0. But practically, when the open loop gain is not infinite, virtual ground cannot be applied. Also, a small current always enters the op-amp, which most of the times we will ignore. In this lecture, what we will do is, we will connect the output terminal with the input terminal and we will form a closed loop circuit. So what does closed loop configuration means? Connection from output terminal to the input terminal exists. Okay, there is a connection that exists between the output terminal and the input terminal, or we can say we are talking about the feedback connection. I told you there are generally two paths. One is the feed forward. Feed forward means the path that leads the current from input to the output. What about feedback? Feedback is a path in which the signal or the current will flow from output to the input. So in this lecture, whatever configuration we will be talking about will belong to the negative feedback configuration. Okay, positive feedback we will study when we will talk about oscillators, but right now we are talking about amplifiers, so we will talk about negative feedback configuration. So I told you why we use negative feedback configuration. The first reason was to stabilize the gain. The second one was to increase bandwidth. Okay. Third one was reduce distortion. Okay. Fourth one was reduce interference or noise. So all these were the reasons why we were going for negative feedback configuration. So in this lecture, I will show you a few circuits that are based on this configuration. So let us start with the first one. The first one is called as the inverting amplifier. Earlier also I told you what is the meaning of inverting amplifier is that the output and input are at 180 degree with respect to each other, or both have opposite sign. If input is positive, the output is negative. If input is negative, the output is positive. That means the output and input have a negative relationship between them. They are out of phase by 180 degree with respect to each other. Okay. So now in inverting amplifier, what we have done additionally is we have connected a feedback resistance from output to the input terminal. We have connected this resistance. So now I will show you two methods of analyzing this circuit. First, let us consider case 1 if open loop gain is finite. If your open loop gain is finite, that means no virtual ground. You can't use virtual ground. Okay. So, in this figure, if you see the voltage of positive terminal is 0, let us assume that the negative terminal voltage is V. So, what is this IE? This IE will be Vs minus V by R1. Okay. What about the difference voltage? The difference voltage is nothing but Vp minus Vn, or you can say minus V. So when you find out V naught, it is always equal to open loop gain into difference voltage, or you can say minus AV. Okay. So V can be written as minus V naught by A. By this method, what I am doing essentially is I am removing this V variable. I am introducing V naught. So this IE will become Vs plus V naught by A whole divided by R1. Now the current input to the op-amp will be taken as 0. So this IL should be equal to IE. So now how you will write IL? IL is V minus V naught by RF. So Vs plus V naught by A by R1. V is minus V naught by A, minus V naught by A, minus V naught by RF. Now cross multiply RF and R1. RF Vs plus RF V naught by A minus R1 V naught by A minus V naught R1. So collect the terms containing V naught on one side. RF plus R1 by A plus R1 should be minus RF Vs. So what is V naught by Vs? The gain of this amplifier is minus RF over R1 plus RF by A. Okay. See, there is a negative sign. This negative sign indicates that it is a inverting amplifier. Now suppose I ask you what is the gain as A tends to infinity. If A tends to infinity, the term inside the bracket will become 0. R1 plus RF by A, it will become 0. So gain will become minus RF over R1. So that is generally the gain of an inverting amplifier, minus RF by R1, where R1 is the resistance at the input and RF is the feedback resistance. Okay. So that is the overall gain of an inverting amplifier. Is it fine? Let us now consider another case in which I directly assume that open loop gain is infinite. If open loop gain directly I am assuming infinite, I can directly apply the concept of virtual ground. In that case, I will say Vp equal to Vn equal to 0. In such a case, what will be this IE? IE you will write as Vs minus Vn over R1, or you can say Vs by R1. What about IL? IL was Vn minus V naught by RF. Okay. This is Vn, this is V naught. Vn minus V naught by RF. Or you can say minus V naught by RF. Current input to op-amp is equal to 0. So this IE must be equal to IL Vs by R1 equal to minus V naught by RF. That means the gain V naught by Vs will come out to be minus RF by R1. Okay. So we are getting the same value of gain that we derived using the open loop gain to be finite, and we can directly derive the same value using the virtual ground. So remember, virtual ground you will only apply when the open loop gain is infinite and we have negative feedback configuration. Otherwise, just use the method that I have told you using the open loop gain, finding the difference voltage, then writing open loop gain into difference voltage is the output voltage. Use that method. Moving to the second circuit, the next is trans resistance amplifier. What did I tell you about trans resistance? Rm was del V out by del I in. So that means it basically converts current to voltage. The output side we have voltage and the input side we have current. Now what we do is, this is a photodiode. What is a photodiode? A diode that works on the basis of light. This is a photodiode. Now photodiode is actually kept reverse biased. Photodiode is reverse biased. In reverse bias condition, what is the current through the diode? The current through the diode is I0. So that means a reverse saturation current will flow like this. Okay, because reverse saturation current will always go from cathode to anode. Now this reverse saturation current, if light is incident on diode, what happens? Electrons are ionized by photoelectric effect, right? Electrons can be ionized, bond can be broken. So due to this, electron hole pair is generated. If electron hole pair is generated, N0 and P0 will increase. So sigma will increase. This current will also increase. That means the current flowing in the reverse bias diode, we can control that value of current by incidenting the light of suitable frequency. Why I am saying suitable frequency? The energy in a photon, what is energy in a photon? It is equal to h nu. This energy should be equal to band gap, then only electrons can go from valence band to conduction band. So we need a particular frequency, and when you incident light of that frequency on a diode, electron hole pairs will be generated. When such electron hole pairs are generated, they take part in conduction, and when they take part in conduction, the current through the diode will increase. Now we very well know that the current in the input to Opamp is 0. That means this I0 will flow like this. This IL will be equal to I0. If you consider open loop gain to be infinite, we can apply virtual ground, right? But remember, there are two conditions. Open loop gain is infinite and there is negative feedback. So now this IL can be written as V0. This voltage is 0 volt. By virtual ground, this voltage will also be 0 volt. So IL is V0 minus 0 by RF, which is also equal to I0. So V0 is I0 into RF. So you can control the value of I0 or the reverse saturation current by means of what? By means of intensity of the light incidented. Intensity means how many number of photons you are incidenting on the diode. Each photon will ionize one electron. So if you incident more number of photons, more number of electrons are generated, higher current will flow. So the amount of current will depend on the intensity of the light, and whether or not current will flow will depend on the frequency. If frequency is suitable or if frequency is appropriate, then only photoelectric effect can take place. So light of suitable frequency needs to be incident, and that light should have high intensity so that large number of electrons are ionized. So when large number of electrons are ionized, high current will flow, which will lead to high output voltage. Okay. So see, at the input side we have current, at the output side we have voltage. That is why it is called as trans resistance. Next is current amplifier. Okay. Now here also we will assume that open loop gain is infinite and we have negative feedback. So we can apply virtual ground. Now by means of virtual ground, what you will say? The voltage of positive and negative terminal must be equal. They both must be equal to 0 because see, this terminal is grounded. If this is grounded, this terminal also becomes 0. Now, this current is Is. Since no current enters the op-amp, the current here will also be Is. So how you will write Is by KVL? Is will be CRF. The voltage at the first end is 0. The other end the voltage is V0 by RF. So V0 is minus Is RF. Now what is this current IL? If you talk about IL, it is V0 by R1. So it is minus Is RF by R1. So see here, IL is directly proportional to Is, hence it is being called as current amplifier. And what is the gain of such an amplifier? Minus RF by R1. The gain is negative, means it is inverting amplifier. Inverting amplifier means the output and input will be in opposite phase, or they will be out of phase with respect to each other. Are you getting my point? So here I0 will be equal to minus Is RF over R1. Is this point very clear to you? Okay. So I have done nothing but I am saying that Is current is flowing in RF, and then Is I am writing as Vn minus V0 by RF. Okay. Suppose I want to find what is this I0 by Is. I want to find this I0. So see, Is is coming like this, I0 is coming like this, IL is going below. So what you will say? Is plus I0 is IL. So if you want to find I0, it will be IL minus Is. IL is how much? Minus Is into RF by R1 minus Is. So it means minus Is 1 plus RF by R1. This minus sign indicates that I0 will flow into the op-amp. Okay, I told you the output terminal of op-amp can deliver as well as it can absorb current. So it depends. If I am asking you I0 by Is, the gain will be minus 1 plus RF by R1. If I am asking you IL by Is, the gain will be minus RF by R1. But remember, negative sign indicates that the direction of current is opposite. So here op-amp will not supply current, rather op-amp output terminal will absorb current. The next amplifier is your inverting summing amplifier. Inverting summing means the output should depend on the sum of the voltages. Now how you can do it? Just first of all assume that open loop gain is infinity and you have applied a negative feedback. When both these conditions are true, what we can do? We can apply virtual ground. In virtual ground, you will say that the voltage of positive and negative terminal are equal. Since the voltage of positive terminal is 0, what is the voltage of negative terminal? It will also be 0. Now let us apply KCL. First let me write I1. How you will write I1? V1 minus Vn by R1. Since Vn is 0, it is V1 by R1. What about I2? V2 minus Vn by R2. So it is V2 by R2 because Vn is 0. I3. V3 minus Vn by R3. Vn is 0, so it is V3 by R3. Now these three currents will be added here. So the current here will be I1 plus I2 plus I3. But no current will enter the op-amp. So this entire current will go like this. So IF will be equal to I1 plus I2 plus I3. By KCL, what is the value of this IF? You will say Vn minus V0 by Rf. So that means 0 minus V0 by Rf equal to I1 plus I2 plus I3, V1 by R1 plus V2 by R2 plus V3 by R3. So V0 is minus Rf, V1 by R1 plus V2 by R2 plus V3 by R3. Now as you can see, all the three voltages are being added with certain coefficients like R1, R2 and R3, and they have a negative sign outside. That is why inverting summing amplifier. Now suppose if these three resistances are equal, then V0 will be minus Rf by R into V1 plus V2 plus V3. Now as you can see, here it is taking sum of V1, V2, V3. Now it is a proper inverting summing amplifier. If you just want a summer, for just a summer, Rf must be equal to R. In that case, V0 will be minus V1 plus V2 plus V3. Then it is not amplifying, it is just taking the sum. One more application what I can do here is, one more thing that I can do here is, suppose if Rf equal to R by 3, then what will be V0? Rf by R will become 1 by 3 minus V1 plus V2 plus V3 by 3. That is called as your averaging amplifier because we are taking average of the voltage. So you can implement summing amplifier, you can implement summer, or you can implement averaging circuit. Okay. So that way this circuit can work on multiple arithmetic function. And when I introduced to you the op-amp, I thereby told you that op-amp is used to implement arithmetic function like taking sum, difference, average. All those things can be done, and here I have showed you that example how it can be done. You don't need to first of all memorize any of these. Okay, just see my nature of analysis, how I am analyzing each and every circuit. I am just solving it by basic network analysis. I am not asking you to memorize any expression. Next one, non-inverting amplifier. Non-inverting amplifier means the input is connected at the non-inverting terminal. Again, like inverting amplifier, I will take two cases. So case 1, open loop gain is finite. Okay, that means no virtual ground. Okay, so now see, in this circuit, this P voltage is equal to the source voltage, the voltage at this. Suppose Vn is equal to V. So what is the difference voltage? It is always positive minus negative, Vs minus V. So whenever you see that there is finite open loop gain, don't use virtual ground. Find the difference voltage. Now V0 is AVD, AVS minus AV. So V will become AVS minus V0 by A, or you can say Vs minus V0 by A. That is the negative terminal voltage. Now what is this IE? If we find IE, 0 minus Vn by R1. Now since there is no input current to the op-amp, always remember the input current to the op-amp is assumed to be 0. So this IE will go like this. It will also be equal to IL. How you will write IL? It will be Vn minus V0 by Rf. Okay, one more thing. Don't think that this is IL. This is not IL, because there will be one more current here, I0. So this current going into RL will be IL plus I0. Don't think that IL will directly go like this. You can never ignore the current from the output terminal. You can only consider the current at the input terminal to be 0. So what I will write, Vn, cross multiply the resistances. Okay. So Vn R1 plus Rf equal to minus V0 R1. Substitute the value of Vn. Vs R1 plus Rf will be multiplied due to this factor, minus V0 by A R1 plus Rf minus V0 R1. So V0 will be R1 minus or minus R1 plus R1 plus Rf by A equal to Vs R1 plus Rf. So what will be the gain? The gain will be, 1 minute, minus V0 R1. Let me check. Vn R1 minus V0 R1. That is IL. IE is 0 minus Vn by R1. So minus Vn Rf, Vn R1. So Vn, sorry, this will be plus, plus, plus. Okay. So now what I will do is, I will calculate the gain of this amplifier. The gain of this amplifier will be V0 by Vs. So it is R1 plus, sorry, yeah, R1 plus Rf over R1 plus Rf over A. Now suppose I ask you the gain as open loop gain tends to infinity, then this term inside the bracket will become 0. So this gain will become R1 plus Rf over R1, or you can say 1 plus Rf by R1. As you can see here, the gain depends on the external parameters R1 and Rf. So that was the basic purpose of designing amplifier using op-amp, that the gain is independent of the op-amp parameter, but it only depends on the external circuit. Also, since the gain is greater than 0, it does not have 180-degree phase shift. It is your non-inverting type of amplifier. That is, the input and the output will have the same sign, or the voltage will be in the same phase. Now let us take case 2. If open loop gain tends to infinity, then we can apply virtual ground directly. If you see this circuit, let me remove these things. In this, what is the voltage at P terminal? Vp. It should be equal to Vn. So we will say Vp equal to Vn, and it should be equal to Vs. Now when you write IE, you will write 0 minus Vn by R1 or minus Vs by R1. What about IL? Vn minus V0 by Rf or Vs minus V naught by Rf. Okay, that I am writing from here, Vn minus V naught by Rf and 0 minus Vn by R1. Both must be equal because current does not enter the input terminal of op-amp. Vs minus V naught by Rf minus Vs by R1. So that means Vs R1 plus Rf equal to V naught R1. So V naught by Vs, how much will it become? R1 plus Rf by R1 or 1 plus Rf by R1. So we are getting the same value of gain that we were getting earlier. Okay. So whenever open loop gain is finite, you have to go by the method of difference voltage, and if it is infinite, you can directly apply the concept of virtual ground. Okay. So if I summarize, two things you have to remember in this lecture. First thing, what is the necessary condition to apply virtual ground? Negative feedback. And the second thing, open loop gain to be infinity. What will happen if open loop gain is finite? Find difference voltage, which is Vp minus Vn, and V naught equal to A Vd. Then the third thing, the gain of inverting amplifier, that you can remember for question solving, minus Rf by R1. Gain of non-inverting amplifier, that is 1 plus Rf by R1. But in both the cases, open loop gain is assumed to be infinite. These two formulae are very common when we study op-amp. You will see them being applied at multiple places. So that is why even if you remember these two gain, inverting and non-inverting amplifier, they will help you inside the examination hall. Okay. So remember these two things. You don't need to memorize any more expression than this. Okay. So in our next lecture, we'll continue our study of op-amp closed loop configuration, and we'll see more circuits based on this. Thank you.
So for 12 months, the pricing is 3250, but if you apply the code Ankit ESE, it becomes 27225. For 18 months, it will be 34650, and for 24 months, 39600. Believe me, my dear friend, this is the most affordable pricing, and the longer duration subscriptions are more cost effective as compared to shorter duration. Like here, it will cost you 1650 per month. Okay, this will be 2000 per month approx. This will be around 2250 per month. Then if you go for Iconic for 12 months, it is 5250. With code Ankit ESE, it becomes 45225, and 2-year subscription becomes 66600. So the choice is yours, but take a longer duration subscription for more cost effective solution, and to give GATE and ESE at least 2 times, so that if you once crack GATE, in the next attempt you can even get ESE. And other than that, my friends, you can download the Unacademy learning app right now, because there we provide live classes for free, test series and live quizzes for free. And once you download it, make sure that you follow this profile. This is my profile, so that whenever I come live, you will get the notification. And this is the Telegram channel for our team. Here you will find all the lecture links, all the lecture files, and all the links for the special classes. Other than that, my friend, my personal Telegram channel also you can join, t.me/gateair1. Here you can get in touch with me, and we can take this journey together. Okay. Other than that, we have other YouTube channels like Mechanical, Civil, and Telugu, JE channel, Computer Science, Gate Question, and Electrical Junction, Pathshala, and GS Terminal. Electrical Junction contains short videos of great concepts. Pathshala provides you animated content. JE preparation can be done through these two channels, Unacademy SSC JE and GS Terminal. And you can refer the other channels to the other friends in respective branches, so that they can also be benefited. At last, I would like to say, please share, like, and subscribe to this channel. Subscribe to this channel, and not only subscribe, press the bell icon so that you get notified whenever a new video comes. And share these videos among all your college group, among all your friends, so that we can create the first ever revolution of free education in field of GATE and ESE. Thank you to everybody for dedicating time to watching this video. Please move on to the next one as well and take the benefit of all the free content that we are providing. And in case you have completed the series, do make sure you watch the other subjects available on this channel. Thank you.